Welcome, everybody. I am Sally Arkell-Boles from Sally Speaks, and today I am so thrilled to have Natasja King here, and she is one incredible woman. She's got such a beautiful story. She's a trauma therapist, a life coach, and a Reiki Master, and she practices and teaches Reiki in Mossel Bay, a small seaside town in South Africa, and she's kind of living her dream right now. She's created this beautiful opportunity for herself, having been a legal personal assistant for years and years. She's lived both in the UK and has just recently come back to South Africa. And she's really worked a lot with international law firms. So you can understand, working with law firms, the type of person she needed to be, which was probably very detail-oriented, very prompt, very professional. And now she's going into working with people at a much more energetic level and bringing not only the skills that she's had throughout her career into creating her businesses, but also to be able to just really give back to other people in a way that's just so beautiful. So I'm really excited for our conversation today. And welcome, Natasja.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Sally. I'm hearing all those words. Really? Is that me? Is she talking about? Yes, she is, but still, it just blows my mind.
Absolutely, it's you. And, one of the things that I've really enjoyed about working with you and talking to you over the last few weeks since we've met, because we're just new to each other, probably in the last month or so, sorry, was that you just come across with just such a beautiful energy and flow, and I could just feel how people would be attracted to that. So maybe let's start there. How the work that you do, especially with Reiki, is energy work. So tell me a little bit about that so our audience understands, how does it work? What does a Reiki professional do? Because I think that's where your main passion is right now, is it not?
Yes, that is. Reiki is wow, yeah, that's the thing that has changed my life the most. I also did a year course as a life coach. And then I thought, well, this isn't really for me. I felt, there's a Reiki called me, the idea of being a Reiki, learning Reiki, the energetic healing side of things. But it's amazing because it's not me who does the healing. It's not even the type of energy. It is the Reiki energy that stimulates the person to heal themselves. Wow. And that ties in with life coaching, where we say, you've got all the answers already. You know everything. A good life coach just asks the right question, makes you think a little bit differently, and all of a sudden, the answer that was there inside just pops up. So Reiki does this without the person having to talk about it, without me doing anything else than placing my hands over the person's body or on their body and just allowing the energy to come through me. So it's like I'm a channel, but it's not the same thing. It's a way of having it be almost like you're a teapot. So I'm the teapot, the person receiving the Reiki treatment is the teacup, and then this high vibrating, fast flowing, pure energy coming in from above through me as a teapot, and I just pour it out. So in a sense, I also get invigorated by doing Reiki treatments, but the person then, it just opens up the channels, the energy just flows right for them. Any emotional blockages will be released. It takes over a few days. Most people find the biggest benefit from a Reiki treatment, say 2 or 3 days later. And things just start to flow and you feel, I would say, zen. That's the best way to describe it. It's like, I gotta do this. It's like everything is just aligned. And it's not just body where you feel, I've got the confidence to speak up, but I'm not being aggressive in my speaking. Or I'm feel excited about something. I'm gonna go and do stuff, but I'm not stressed about it. There's like this, I can stand up for myself. I can speak my truth, but I'm not gonna be overpowering and put people off with my harsh way of talking. I know how to, it's just the perfect balance between everything we need to be in order to have our life that just flows. Where I live, so in this small little town, Reiki isn't that well known, but people are coming for it. They contact And some people even say, I've been waiting for a Reiki practitioner all this time. And now here you are. And now the students are coming as well, because I'm teaching Reiki. I love the idea of empowering people. The same with why I sort of stopped with life coaching, because I wanted to say, yes, you come for one treatment with me. And a lot of the treatments, the clients turn into students. So they come 1, 3, 4 times, and then they say, you know what, I want to learn this. And in Reiki level 1, you are taught how to give it to yourself, how to give Reiki treatments to you. The big focus is self-treatment. So you kind of connect with your higher self. You understand how energy works in you, the power of your thoughts are energy, your emotions are forms of energy, how that impacts others. So you learn it as Reiki level 1. And it's all about self-discovery and self-empowerment. It's just a beautiful thing. So I then eventually don't need to give people, or certain people, some people, I don't need to give them the Reiki treatment, because they've got the Reiki and they can do it for themselves. It's so important. Nice. And then the ripple effect, which really blows my mind. But those people go home and they've got children, they've got husbands, they've got neighbors, people at work, and they can give other people some Reiki treatment, or they are just so changed that people see the effect on them. A lot of the time it happens where my client would say, oh, it's happened quite a few times where they come back for the second session and they say, you know what, the evening after the first session and in the weeks in between, my relationship with my husband is just better. My child seems to be listening to me. He just does what I want him to do without me even saying anything. Wow. But it's because the people in your house feel your energy. And if you space, right? It's like if you irritate, it seems like everyone irritates you and they flare up, and it's like this vicious circle. So after Reiki treatment, or if you do give Reiki to yourself, you notice I'm a bit out of whack, I'm just going to give myself some Reiki. Then the people in the house, the people in the office where you work, they kind of respond to that. You send out this vibe, sort of what you were saying. You pick up how people could feel comfortable in my space. And I kind of been like that. I went to my whole life, but I'm on that vibe. But after Reiki, it is more. It is just people just are drawn to me because I'm just giving out this energy of, oh, I want a little bit of that. Yes. So it's a safe space. I won't judge. You can be who you want to be with me. And all of that stems from Reiki. And then you can learn that as well, and you can get a treatment if you don't want to learn it. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, we are energetic beings, right? And so whatever we're putting out is what we're going to attract. And so that it's such a powerful, powerful part of our being. And yet so many of us go through our day just pushing through, doing the same things that we've always done. And yet that's where I think, a lot of us that came from a corporate environment where we were, in your role, you were probably bringing along a lot of masculine energy because it was the behave, right? Follow the rules, etc. And there's something wrong with that masculine energy, but now you have an opportunity to step into a different energy and bring more of who you truly are and your feminine energy forward so that you can really serve others in a way that really makes such a big difference in their lives, right? Because when we actually tap into the proper energy fields within our body, my experience has been that people, places, and things just show up for you almost instantly to help you with whatever it is that you're wanting to have happen. So, tell me a little bit about your journey from that corporate environment where you were, at a high level of performance, and then what made you make that big shift? Because that's a big part of what a lot of the people I work with is that they're in their corporate career and they really have a deeper passion to be able to do something to serve people in a different way, but they're also fearful of taking that leap. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that, because you've got a beautiful story there, I believe. Let's hear it.
Yeah, you know what? You were saying that people, if you feel you want to make a change, but you're fearful of that change, right? You go to work and everything just seems, I don't want to be here. If I have to type one more email, if I have to arrange one more meeting, if I have to go to one more meeting, I'm going to scream. And it's like this uncomfortableness that doesn't want to leave. But, oh, actually, I'm going to tell you something that I read. There's a, who was it? I saw, someone was telling a story. I think it's a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi. He's very well known, but I just saw this one video of him once where he was describing crustaceans. And he was saying that I'm paraphrasing now, I'm probably not doing this very
That's okay.
justice, but you get the idea of it. The crustaceans go under the rock when they have to shed their shells, okay? They feel uncomfortable, they pull themselves back, they don't want to be seen by other people, they kind of go into like a depression state. If you would correlate it to a human, it would be, I'm unhappy, I don't want to see people, I want to be in my own little space, and this doesn't feel good, and I feel like I'm going to burst out of my skin. And that's exactly what those crustaceans need to do. They burst out of their skin, but they push through this uncomfortableness. Then they come out of the cave or the rock or the whatever, and they're a brand new person. But it gets to the point where the bursting out, the uncomfortableness gets so much that you have to give into it. And unfortunately, sometimes we resist the change so much that it gets unbearable. Yes. But that's life's way, the universe's way, to say to you, you can't go on the way you've been going on. You're unhappy. So something's got to give. And in this case, you have to change. So in my case, it was leaving the UK, but it had a big run up where I was, like I said, I studied life coaching, and I tried to incorporate it into my work, so got involved with the health and wellness group, the London committee kind of thing. I created a newsletter. So every month, I basically wrote the newsletter, got people involved, raised the profile of health and wellness, mental health, all those lovely things. And then I thought, well, this was giving me joy. The rest of the day job wasn't giving me joy anymore, and I tried to do more of that. So in the end, I even created a little job description where I was proposing me shifting into a new role where I help all the other committees in the office with doing what I did for the health and wellness, but I could do it for the other groups as well. The diversity group, all the other ones, because I'm so passionate about everything that's not legal PA anymore. But the office, they didn't want to go for it. They said, no, you can't do that. And in the meantime, my husband was getting ready. He was in a stressful job, and the stress levels were just increasing. The UK had just lifted. Oh no, South Africa wasn't on the red list anymore. And this was happening in the second year of lockdown. So South Africa wasn't on the red list anymore. There was the opportunity for us to now take a long holiday in South Africa, go back to see our family after we couldn't for so long. And so part of that was I wanted to leave my job anyway. I was getting to that point, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And then the opportunity to go to South Africa happened. But I think even if I didn't have the South Africa trip, the starting a whole new life type of thing, because I know everyone has that, I would still have left my job because I couldn't bear it anymore. I was becoming a new person. And the things that gave me, that I counted as valuable, that made my day worthwhile, that made me excited to go to work, was this health and wellness stuff, the informing, the helping people. I was a mental health first aider, and I just wanted to talk to people about the important things in life. It just seemed like typing up an email. No, it doesn't serve me anymore. I'm over this. I've been doing it for so long, I was getting bored. I felt a monkey could do my job. But the stuff where I was really speaking from my heart and helping people, that was unique to me. That wasn't cookie cutter. And I knew that was my path. So the second year of lockdown was the year that I found Reiki, which was totally unexpected for me. I did not see that coming. I didn't even have a Reiki treatment. I went straight for learning Reiki. Did the second level, did the third level, and I knew I had to do master level before I left South Africa. Before I left the UK for South Africa. And that was, again, that instinct. My path was lined up that I would have able to have done master level in South Africa. and gave me the confidence when I came here, I could say it, I'm a master and I can teach people. And I think that's my passion, telling people, giving them information so they can be empowered to go ahead and do it for themselves. Information is power. And if you can couple that with someone who teaches you, or it's something that you learn that is for your own self-growth, I mean, wow, this is a magic combination, right? So my career path was, it served me very well to have been in the law firm, to learn personality types, all the different lawyers that I had to work with all my years, and different, it was finance departments, I worked in banks, I was in litigation, I was in debt collection, loads of different exposure and different types of different ages. As I grew older, the trainees came in, were kept being younger than me. In the beginning, I was younger than the trainees, and now then it shifted. So I could see all the different ages of people. And the thread throughout this was I was supporting them, I was helping them, and that's what I felt I like to do. I like to people, I like to help people, basically.
Yeah.
Not in a way as a PA, as a secretary anymore. It had to be more meaningful. Go further. So yes, so the career change was almost forced on me because I just couldn't see myself going on with it. But didn't throw away all the knowledge and the experience I had built up over the years. Because there's something that people think, well, looking legal PA, Reiki Master. I mean, wow, they couldn't be more worlds apart. But the experience and the life experience and the skills of being a PA, a personal assistant, has definitely helped me build the career now in South Africa. I mean, you need to be organized. Social media content, write in a way an email that's punchy, gets to the bottom of the issue very quickly, connect to people. Just show up for meetings, arrange the meetings, all those things, because there are people who just don't like admin, right? And then that holds them back from having a successful business. So either you've got to employ someone who likes admin or just get used to it and do it. But if there's a big energetic block for you, then find someone who likes to do that. There are millions of people who can do stuff for you that you don't, you're not attracted to. Like, I get someone to do the taxes because I'm not good with numbers, but any life experience and expertise and previous job, the old job, piggyback on that, because if throw it away completely, you might as well use it for your benefit to grow the new version of the new business. Yeah.
I think we have a very similar journey because I did the same thing. I mean, I was very successful in the corporate world. I was in leadership roles the whole time, but there was something missing a few years ago. It's over 3 years now since I left corporate, but there was something that wasn't fulfilling for me anymore. And I really wasn't, excited to be doing my corporate career, to train and lead these people, to be able to develop a really successful business. And the leaderships had changed. Everything was changing around me. And my husband and I actually moved away as well, across from the West Coast over to Quebec, where, it's primarily Francophone. And so I left my career, but went there sort of working for remotely before everything changed for the world to go remote. And that was the first time they had done that. While they were trying to find me something else, and anything they were coming up with was just not anything I wanted to do. So eventually I ended up just saying, I'm okay with, because I came to the point of, I was trying to push, and it felt like a push energy to get something within the organization that was going to be something I would love to do. But when I actually thought about it, I thought, it isn't the right opportunity for me right now. And I was able to release all that energy, and I asked to be let go.
Amazing.
Right? I asked to be let go. And I had complete confidence in doing that because I had come to the decision myself that what I had been struggling with and looking for wasn't what I really wanted. And so once I released it, everything fell into place. And so it was, I had the opportunity to look at that. And as I started to develop in the role that I'm in right now, what I found was that it was the same as you. I was looking for something to serve people in a different way, in a passion that I would bring forward. And so, I'm lucky because I get to be a high performance success and mindset coach. And I love this piece of it because it was the missing link in corporate, right? I had trained people all through my career. I had high level executive positions, but what I found was we were always teaching people how to do their work, but not how to get the results to be able to move to the level that they really wanted to, because nobody was really talking about that energy or that mindset. So for me, that has been the key to everything that I do now. So it was taking, like you said, taking all your past skill set, because I think a lot of people, like you said, they forget about the skill set they show up with to this new venture that they want to get into. And when you understand the value of what you've already created in your life and the success that you've created, those skills are transferable.
Yeah.
And now we can transfer them into, I'll call it our passion project. I'll call it where our true calling is, or I could call it, where we're feeling right now is the place that we need to be energetically. And it attracts to you what you're wanting. And so I love your story because you covered all of those elements. You were found something that was tweaking you to say, yeah, there's something bigger out there. There's something deeper that I can bring forward. But in the corporate world, as we know, we don't have the opportunity to really impact the way that we want to, because they're used to working in a certain box, right?
Yeah.
And I came from finance and investments. So, you've got to understand that's a really tight box, just like lawyers are, right? Very similar background. And so, when we think about that, I want you to think about, our listeners is thinking about, what are the skill sets that you have going forward, and what is it that you really want to contribute for your purpose? Because that's what I hear you're doing now. You found your purpose for today. It may not be forever, but for today, this is where your niche is. This is where your passion is. This is where you're feeling the most energetic yourself, and where you're making the biggest difference for people, right? Other people. Exactly. So, and by helping those other people, you're also helping yourself in your, not only your growth, but your business and your wealth and prosperity, everything. So I think, beautiful story that I'm hearing here is that it's not just you. There's so many of us at this stage of our careers that are looking to really live our lives on our terms now. And to create that future and give people that light that they're looking for. And I think this is a fabulous movement that we're seeing across the world right now, because we're all looking to feel better. We're all looking to understand ourselves better, and I think what's happened the last few years is it's given us that realization that we are powerful. And we can heal ourselves, and that we can focus on what we really want to attract into our lives. So for me, just hearing you speak today, and I saw your face light up and the passion that you had, that means you're in the right place at the right time. Because when you're in the corporate career and you're just showing up for work at that certain time, you never walk into the office feeling that way. Or at least I never did. There was days that I felt really good walking into the office, but it was agenda right away, right? Now I have the opportunity to schedule my day and do the things that I want to do. And, today happens to be a beautiful sunny day where I am in Canada. And it's been rainy the last few days. And I'm like, oh, what time today can I go for a walk in the middle of the day to enjoy the sunshine and the nature and all the flowers coming up and things. So to me, I've now been able to craft my life around my career. And so tell me a little bit about how you're doing that, because I know that's part of what you're doing as well.
Yeah, it's very similar actually. But I'm still learning how can I say, not get hung up on the controlling too much. This is my old, my PA thinking. It's like, unless I'm typing an email, unless I'm producing content, nothing's going to happen. But that's the worst way of doing it. Because if you're in an energetic business, my energy is attracting my clients. So if I'm thinking, oh, I don't have a client today, there's lack of clients, of course, or lack of clients. So it's so many of these journeys we are on it ourselves. I have to learn things while I'm teaching someone else, or while I'm showing up for someone else. stuff that I innately now know because I've learned through experiences that this is now just how you should do things. But there are other things that I'm still finding out myself. But yes, I'm also venturing into the way of maybe a retreats, doing retreats, teaching people a short amount of input relatively, like a weekend a month, and just make a lot of money from that, because I'm also in this for the money, right? It's my lifestyle. I don't want to be, how can I say, I want to keep my standard of living, or even better, increase the standard of living, whilst being ridiculously happy doing what I do. And I don't think that's to ask.
No, absolutely.
And you can be I can be an example to other people. To say that yes, if you know energetically how to create and understand how powerful you are, the process, you're helping others, you're building your business, you're getting an income. And if you've got the money coming in, you can relax, and then you can go for your walks at any time. You can take a break from work, but not even if the money is, even if the money isn't coming in, you do that anyway, and then the money will, right? There's so many ways of playing with it. But I want to say, oh yes, so I'm focusing now on having a retreat. My very first retreat is at the end of next month. Nice. And I've got next week 3 clients or students coming in for a Reiki course, but it is actually evolving possibly into a retreat, which was my idea anyway. And I'm thinking the universe is showing me, without me planning it, it is happening anyway. And I'm like, that's exactly how energy works. It's like, I had vision, and I'm not going to control it too much. We actually, my husband and I walked down to the beach the other day, and here in Mossel Bay, we've got a zip line. And it's the longest zip line over the ocean in the world. Okay. Oh, wow. So now we sit at like ground level and we watch these people zipping past. And then you see them coming down from there's like it starts really high and then it kind of slows down. And they're coming down, but they are afraid. So they hold on to this cord or this
the rope, whatever.
The rope, whatever. So they're holding on for dear life. And what happens? They slow down. And they don't reach the end point, and they just hang there. And then the guys in the front, where they are now, the platform that they're aiming for, they keep lifting their arms and putting their hands out to say, let go of the rope. You've got to let go. You are not going to move forward if you cling too strongly to this rope. And I just said, well, that's life. Sometimes you need to let go in order to move forward. And that's such a big lesson for me in this book. Working for myself, because that's also it doesn't feel as safe as being full-time employed, having like the stability that we are made to think that being employed equals stability. Someone else is all the pressure. But if you shift that, if you work for yourself, you've got to let go of that idea, and you've got to trust yourself and go with it and see the opportunities and grasp them, something that the marketing team would have done, or something that the strategy head, the CEO would have decided for you if you were employed. Now it's down to you. And it's scary, but it's also, wow, it's down to me. I can control this. And it's good. So it all depends on, like I say, mindset and how you look at these things, and then use it to your advantage, or shift your thinking so it's something that could be scary now actually becomes really empowering.
Well, and I think when you are stepping into your own business, what I found is that most people will walk away from their business just before they're about to hit that high note in their business, because they're working, and they're feeling like they're just churning, and they're not getting the results. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall. They're trying everything that they've been told to try. They've been looking at all the sparkly training that's out there saying, do this to get successful, do that to get successful. We've all been, into those types of things. But I think at the end of the day, it's the desire to really be able to create what you want for your future, and then combine that with just an expectation that it will happen. And divine right timing then steps in, and it will show you opportunities to be able to say, oh, here, Natasha, here's a new client that you weren't expecting, that found you somehow, some way, but you're not sure how. So you're going to ask them to find out. And those types of divine right timings show up. The fact that you and I both ended up on an event yesterday that was a networking event that was hosted by someone in New Zealand, right? And we both ended up on that same one with 20 women from around the globe was not a coincidence, right? It was not a coincidence. We ended up there because of our like energy and the like opportunity that was in front of us. I don't know how long you've known the lady that was hosting it. I'd only known her a few weeks.
Even less days.
Had a great conversation with her, and I thought, well, why not? Why wouldn't I go and do this? And now I've got 20 new connections to connect with like-minded people that are driving their businesses to that next level. And some may already be further than me, some may be, you know, starting out. And so for me, it's those opportunities that show up that are serendipitous. They seem almost serendipitous, but really it's because you're in that right energy of that attraction at that moment. And what I'm recognizing now for myself is how many of those show up on a daily basis, right? To open up that door for me. And so because of the energy and the mindset that, you know, this is my desire to get to here, to have this, and I know that I'm capable of doing it, and I'm just going to put the energy out to attract it. That's what you get to do for so many people, right? I've taught myself this through the courses that I teach, but I also teach a lot of people, you know, from square one up, because I work with people over a 6-month period of time to really help them, number one, figure out what that passion is. Luckily for you, you took some steps intuitively to get into that field. I took steps intuitively to get into my field. And I think when you start trusting that intuition and get out of that corporate, you know, mindset that we've been trained on, we've both been trained forever on that corporate mindset, and we've had success. But when you actually release that and know that you can trust yourself again, and you can trust the universe to supply, you can trust that the right people are going to show up at the right time, makes such a huge difference. And go ahead.
Oh no, it actually takes the pressure off in a weird way.
Absolutely.
We think we need to keep worrying, or we were taught in the corporate world, you need to keep stressing about things that are going to go wrong. Have plan A's, B's, and C's. Strategy. Have a really. You have to have your goals. It's got to be really strict, and that becomes counterintuitive. You've got to let go of all that thinking. And it's so like we were saying, but every day you can see a synchronistic event happen, and as long as we just notice them and appreciation and gratitude for that, that's just going to increase. And I actually tell you what happened to me maybe 2 weeks ago. Got a random, I'm saying random, but we know it's not random. Just said a random phone call from a lady in Pretoria, which is in Gauteng, not the Western Cape, other opposite end of South Africa. And she was saying, just her voice note was amazing. She was saying, I found you on Facebook. I've been stalking you on Facebook. And I said, I totally get it. I understand. So she wanted to see what I'm about. And I don't advertise anything of my Facebook. Well, in South Africa, Facebook is bigger than Instagram. So that's why I'm kind of referring back to that. Okay. So I don't advertise anything with the specifying people living in Gauteng. I'm Western Cape, so my stuff is targeted to Western Cape people. So if someone finds me that's not in the Western Cape, that means divine intervention has been at play here. Okay, found me, and she said she was looking at what I do over a long period now, and she saw one video that I posted about myself. I can't even remember, so it must be so long ago.
Yeah.
She just felt she had to reach out to me, like I said, 2 weeks ago, because she on holiday with her partner, and they're going to be in Mossel Bay, and we should do something together. My voice note back to her was just yes. I don't know what we're planning, but I'm already saying yes. And that was the perfect example of just she grasped it. Evening before she left me this voice note, I was saying to my husband, I have a feeling that the Pretoria, that area of South Africa, there's a target market for me. And I don't know how I'm going to get into Pretoria, because I don't know anything, but nothing kind of say my corporate mind is saying there's no link. But energetically, there was a link because the next day, a yoga studio owner from Pretoria contacted me and she said she did something with me and she's coming to Mossel Bay. So we arranged that I was going to meet her. She's actually arriving in a few days. So we said, maybe I can take part in one of her yin yoga classes. And my friend is launching his yoga studio, rebranding his yoga studio. Weekend that she's here. And we say, well, maybe we can tie that in. You can be a guest teacher for his launch. So now she's involved with him. I'm helping him. She's helping him. It's just a beautiful thing. And then yesterday we found out, how did it work? Something, I was just mentioned in passing that I'm teaching Reiki level 1 this weekend. And she said, but I thought you were teaching Reiki level 2. I would love to learn Reiki, but I didn't think that you were teaching level 1 this weekend. Can I sign up? And I'm like, yes, of course you can. So yoga studio owner we're not doing something together for yoga, but she's learning Reiki from me. And it blows my mind. And then there's a connection where her partner is friends or family with my yoga buddy that she's helping with his relaunch. And there's beautiful synchronistic things just fit together when they have to fit. And if I said no to her voice note or to the message that she left, or she didn't trust her instinct to reach out to me, none of this would have happened. So the universe is pulling the strings and lining things up for us, but it's still down to us to say yes. We still have free will, and we can, I wouldn't say mess it up because you'll get an opportunity again, but you can make your life so much easier if you spot the little nudges, the intuitive taps on the shoulder, like, come on, it's coming again, yet another link to something, another opportunity of the same thing. If you keep saying no, it's going to keep coming back until you say yes, but then it might just be harder to manifest what you wanted. If you had just been aware enough and said yes and thank you and go for it, it would have been easier. But it's amazing. Like you were saying, the corporate world has taught us to think differently. I forgot what I wanted to say.
That's
I
okay.
just feel sorry.
It'll come to you again. I think part of what you were saying, there's an analogy that I use when I talk about, receiving messages or direction, and sometimes we don't even realize it, but you could be driving somewhere that you've driven many times before, but then all of a sudden you think, oh, I'm going to take this road, and you turn at that particular time and find out later that something happened down there, or it's taking you to something. And so that's an example of an instinct that's popping in, a message that's popping in saying, go this way. And there could have been an accident ahead. There could have been something else that was happening. And most of us can recognize that when we're driving and say, oh, geez, maybe there was a big traffic jam and we wanted to get to our event, but divine right guidance pops in and takes us on that right path. So I think when you start thinking about those types of things, I know I'm very aware now of any thought that comes to me that's guiding me, and then what I do is I take action immediately. So because that taking the action immediately means it's there for you at this very moment. Take the action, get it done. So many, many times I've had people come to mind, and then I will text them or something that same time, and all of a sudden I was just thinking about you. And these are people all over the world. Those are the types of things that you can create in your life for everything. If you're aware of what the messages that's coming in, the vibration that's there, and the thought that comes to you, and take that action. Because there's a reason why you're having that thought, right? And the thoughts turn into things. And that's exactly what you're saying. Like, I've been doing all these things. I've been doing my posts on Facebook with beautiful energy, and you've been attracting people from outside of your area that you never know, but they're following you to know, like, and trust you, which is a simple system that everybody wants before they work with someone. I want to know who you are. I want to like you, and I want to trust that I can put myself into your business in some way, shape, or form, or into your circle in some way, shape, or form. And when you allow yourself just to relax and open up to whatever's going to come to you, that's when the beauty happens. And that's what you teach, right? And you're able to get people aligned so that they can receive so much faster and so much simpler, but also just have that calmness and that joy, right?
Yes.
I love the word
And-
joy because it has a whole different meaning for me than happiness, because joy just means I'm exuding all of that energy of just bliss almost, right? I'm walking
Yeah.
with bliss. So, and it's surprising who you'll meet along those paths, wherever you're going, following your intuition. And people will say, how do I know you, Natasja? I've met you
Yes, that
before.
happens.
Where have I
That
met you
happens.
before? Right? And I know you, but it's because you have that inner beauty and that feeling and that energy that they feel like they've known you. So
Yeah.
that to me is what people are missing in their life. They're not paying attention to that. And so I really love the fact that, you lit up when I said that, because it's so true, right?
Yes.
It's so true.
You were just saying about the thoughts that come up for us and how we need to, the messages that, what do you act on basically? And sometimes people are like, well, how do I know what I've just heard is the thing that's going to take me further? Why? How do I know this isn't just me making it up? Because I know my husband struggled with that for a while, and I did as well. It's just like, when is it an intuitive nudge that will end up good? You know what I mean? You kind of,
Yeah.
I think the book Conversations with God says that if this pops up in your head, the measure is, does it evoke feelings of joy, love, and truth? So the gauge, if the idea of phoning my friend now in this moment is joyful, it's truthful because it just resonates with, like, okay, that's the right thing to do, and it's from a place of love, then you can go ahead and do it. Truth and love. And so it's not that it feels like it should be difficult, but it's actually not difficult. The concept is simple. Just go with
the flow.
Go with the flow. But to do it in practice can sometimes be difficult if you've come from a background. If there's there's something on the line. I'm building a new business, so it's a big deal. For me, it's a big deal, but on an energetic level, whether I'm making pasta or whether I'm building a business, it's the same. Or what energy do I put out into it?
Yeah.
So we make it a bigger deal than it needs to be. And when we do, we hang on really tightly with a control, and we go back into a non-energetic way of trying to do it. Into all those marketing speak people and do another course. Yes. Maybe this course is going to be the one where I learn the things I have, or sign up for the free of this thing, and that manual is going to have like this short webinar type of introductory talk thing, and this is the one that's going to be where I needed to be. No, it's just knowing where you want to go and going there.
Absolutely.
All the extras. And actually, we were talking about doing courses as well. And I also think that there's a time where you can say, I don't need anything else. Maybe just focus on what I'm doing now. And because if you energetically felt that this is the thing for me, then keep going with that thing. You don't need to jump around and divert your energy, mental and emotional energy, for something else. And I've seen this with other people, with friends of mine who are trying to move from one career into the next, and then they sign up for I did a life coaching course, but I only did the life coaching, and then I did Reiki, and this is now what I do. The trauma therapy, I added that, but that was a year apart, and there was a very good reason every time why I did it. But for instance, I'm now considering doing yin yoga, but then I'm thinking, no, it doesn't feel right. The concept might sound good because you can, in the yin yoga, it's trauma reading vibe. I can incorporate Reiki in a yin yoga class because the holds are long. So conceptually, corporate world thinking, that's a good addition to your repertoire. But how do I feel about it? Do I have joy, love, and does it speak to my truth? No, really. Maybe I just be an add-on to someone else who does yin. I don't need to learn yoga and go for 2-hour teacher training. So there's all this really sit back and understand, what does my energy say? How do I feel? How do I feel about this? And then going from there. I totally babbled nonstop.
No, this is awesome. I love the analogy of, thinking about everything that we're doing, and, the joy, the love, and speaking to my truth. How many times do people ask if it's my truth? Right?
Yeah.
I don't think many people do, because we are so aligned now to try and fit into whatever it is, the circumstances that we're in with another person, trying to change that other person, trying to be able to change the environment that we're in, trying to, not really live our truth, but trying to fit into a box that we're not necessarily fitting into. And so I love that piece of it. I mean, we've talked about joy. It's part of what I have in mind, my mantra to myself. And then the love is like, we all have so much love to give to everybody, and we can do that just energetically. I mean, I've been walking down my street, and I live by a university, and I saw this one young lady walking down in front of me, and I could just tell she had this really heavy energy. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. And I just sent waves of energy to her. And I was probably, I don't know how many meters away from her. And she looked around. Right.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Like, when I see someone now that I just have a sense that they're not feeling good energy, I just send them energy, and it's just a loving energy to, to surround them with like arms, like a hug. But we have that ability as humans to do this and to impact everybody. And so, getting out of our head and speaking to our truth and sharing that love and that joy is the power that we get to bring forward. Right? The power that we get to be forward. And that's why, you've been blessed with having this opportunity and finding this path, because, I can sense it with your energy, and I can see the passion that you have for it, and the excitement you get in being able to have somebody else be exposed to it. Because that's how we're going to change the dynamic energy in the world. That's how we're going to change the beings in the world one at a time. But that one person can impact millions in their lifetime.
Absolutely.
They can impact millions and generations to come. So, what you're doing is such beautiful work. And I'm so blessed that I got the opportunity to meet you and then run into you another time unexpectedly. So paths cross when they're supposed to cross. And so this is really cool how, over the last month, we've met 4 different times, and some of them without us even planning them. So it's very cool.
It is, and I'm attending your webinar tomorrow evening as well. My one. And I shared my Facebook. I hope some other South Africans will be attending as well.
Good.
I knew I was going to see you twice, and then it turned into 3 times this week. So I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll wear something different.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, I really appreciate your time today. So now you said you're big on Facebook, so we can just look up Natasja King. With a J,
with a J, yes.
So make sure you have my page there, and I will put this all in the information for the podcast with her information. But definitely, if you have any curiosity about what it's like to move from corporate into something that's an energetic practitioner, if you have anything like that for Natasja, if you know people that would really benefit from it, that you could refer, or maybe you want to just have a session with her, can you do sessions remotely? So like if I was to do it, you can do it. Okay, perfect. Yes,
I can. I can do trauma therapy remotely and Reiki. And Reiki is amazing for remote. It's like as if next to you, it's exactly the same thing. Yes, and by all means, just get in touch with me.
So just as you can see, look at her beautiful energy and her smile. She's so open to working with you. She's just an amazing woman. I feel very blessed that we've crossed paths. I know that we have a lot in common, and we're both, coming from that corporate role, and here we are later in life. We're not in our 20s. I'm assuming we're both not in our 30s. I know I'm not, but there's definitely an opportunity for you to create your life on your terms at any age in life, and to be able to take back control and live in joy, love, and your truth. So I'm going to put those 3 on there to finish us off today. And I really appreciate you and all that you're doing for not only the world, but also within your own world, to be able to make a difference for so many others. So thank you for being so much today.
Oh, thank you for having me. And you do exactly the same. So I want to say thank you to you too, for spreading the word and bringing people into your podcast and into your life and your coaching. And lovely.
Right place, right time. And you know it because you feel it, right? That's when you know that you're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.